Well, Dan, here we are again. I can't believe that this weekend has finally arrived, and it's a big one, not only for South Africa, but for the world, and particularly world rugby. Your thoughts?
Thanks, Mark. Yes, what an amazing weekend, because as we chat, we're on the verge of the 20th anniversary of 9/11, that horror story that hit New York with the Al-Qaeda terrorists. So that's the 11th of September, 20 years ago. And my story will start also with an aeroplane, but a much smaller one, because Sunday, when we play the Wallabies, is the 12th of September, which is 40 years on from the flower bomb test. And I was present at that test match, which was the most amazing event ever. And we thought, could you script this? You couldn't tell your children that this happened. A plane driving, flying over a rugby ground, dropping flares, dropping pamphlets, dropping flower bombs, And that did happen, and the 81 Springboks are now up to 40 years. But then, fortunately, the current crop of Springboks, the 2021 class, they're about to play again against Australia in the Gold Coast in Australia, and they're starting up after a month against the Argentinians. And that's good to me. I can't wait to watch this test match. It's going to be a very different test match. The Springbok challenge until recently has been against teams that try to take them on in the forwards. So in the Rugby World Cup, Wales and England, and came short. The British Lions came short. They couldn't take us on in the forwards. The Wallabies seem to have a different approach. They've gone all out attack. They've picked Quade Cooper out of nowhere, who's a clever, hard to bottle up fly half. They've got a great little scrum half and a guy called Tate McDermott, and they clearly want to play very quickly against us. So a new challenge for the Springboks. Funny enough, with the crowd present, and I noticed our coach, Jacques Nienaber, it describes the fact that there's going to be a crowd as weird, because of course we haven't had that for a while. So now we've got a new challenge for this current Springbok side, the world champions. They're determined to prove they're the world champions, a side that really wants to run at them, run them off their feet, move them around. And I think a little bit of that comes from the last test against the British and Irish Lions, where Russell Finn did cut the Springboks up a bit, and I'm sure Dave Rennie has had a look at that and said the Springboks are vulnerable to a jinker and a stepper and a runner and people who come at them. Of course, they've got to get a little bit of ball to do that. They've got to get some possession. I think Australia too have one key advantage in the forwards, as their captain, Michael Hooper, is an outright fetcher, very quick across the park, an amazing player who does his country proud every time. He's equaling George Gregan's record of 59 tests. So they have one or two advantages to play fast. So you can't leave it without a prediction. So what will happen? My belief is that the Wallabies will come at us. They play fast, but they'll struggle with our set pieces. They'll definitely struggle with our scrum. Jacques Nienaber has picked his strongest side, other than Cheslin Colby, although Sabu Nkosi is a wonderful young player. So our weakness is probably that our forwards are very big. We've got a magna pack, but they're probably a bit slow, probably a bit cumbersome, moving sideways. But the Wallabies will struggle with our scrum. They'll struggle with our line out. Because, people say we don't play attacking rugby. We do play attacking rugby. We attack the scrums, we attack the line outs, and we have the most offensive defense in the world of rugby. So I think that relentless defense will give the Springboks the edge, and we'll probably narrowly win it.
Thanks, Dan. I'm pumped, and I'm sure the rest of the world is. Cheers.